I need to get in here.
I'm sorry.
Help me.
Judging from what remains of the stained glass windows and the murals, this pile of rubble must have been a place of worship before the Great Wave struck. Now it's one of the most badly damaged buildings in the area. There are hardly any walls still standing.
Send us a sign, Lord. We need a sign from you.
Hey, wait a minute. I know that voice.
Are we guilty of arousing your rage? Did we do it? Speak with your tongue of fire, Lord. Purge us with unrelenting justice. Send us a sign. Is this our doing? Are you punishing us for our arrogance? Unleash your thunderous voice, Lord. Release us from this intolerable uncertainty. Did we do it? Send us a sign.
I'm getting a strong impression that man's a fanatic and a little bit deranged, but his sermon made me curious. What could he mean by, "we did it"?
Illuminate us with your fiery voice, Lord. Send us a sign.
The only statue in this place still standing.
Are we the
It's
guilty
Saint...
ones?
what's his name? Patron saint of... who knows what. I'm afraid that if I ever was a believer, all that information has also been blanked.
Illuminate us with your fiery voice, Lord. Send us a sign.
The catastrophe caused a lot of damage to the statue's pedestal. The fact that the statue is still standing is a miracle. This enormous stone cross casts a giant shadow across the aisle of the church. Perhaps that wasn't the original intention, but the result is pretty gloomy and menacing. A few parishioners listened to the words of the preacher, mesmerized, although I'm sure that, like me, they can't decipher the meaning of his mystical rants either. Considering the condition of the rest of the church, it's amazing that the stained glass window is still in place and practically intact. Such little light that gets in from the street gives it a ghostly appearance. Seated on these disarranged pews, some people are listening to the preacher, others just nod off. I guess they don't have anywhere else to go. That must be Reverend Blake, the preacher I heard about in the camp. I don't understand a word of that man's sermon, and I'm afraid the other faithful don't either. Could that be the reason why everyone reveres him so much? I'm not going to interrupt him in the middle of his sermon. That would be rude. This column fragment must have fallen off one of the walls during the catastrophe. Now it's keeping the pedestal of the statue company.
The thunderous voice of your angels.
The remains of the stained glass window that went with the intact one on the other side of the door of the church. The Great Wave must have shattered it.
That's it.
A metal sign bolted to the wall. It's the logo of the local subway system. And
Oh shit.
let's see. I can try to rip it off. Nothing. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get it off with my hands.
What I have heard.
They come from one of the church's broken stained glass windows. They're pretty and eye-catching, and have a nice variety of colors. What was formerly the entrance to a subway stop is now a bunker reinforced with bricks and cement. A moldy sign says, "Subway service suspended until further notice." I imagine the train tunnels were flooded or ruined after the Great Wave. It's one of the ways into the city's sewer system. The Great Wave wrecked this place. Did the same thing happen down there? So, let's see. Impossible. It's not that it's super heavy. It's that there's hardly any place to insert your fingers to lift this manhole cover. Closed for public health reasons is written on this piece of wood nailed to the stump. Wait a minute. Health with no A? Southside Park. Would you believe it? This must be the famous suicide park I've been hearing so much about. Huh. The pun is as witty as it is macabre. A bucolic fountain covered with ivy and moss. The park's desolation gives it an air of mystery from the side of the fence. In its day, it must have been home to a school of goldfish, which I suppose are now gradually decomposing inside it. Judging from its girth, this giant must have lived for hundreds of years before someone got the bright idea of cutting it down. Now the stump is guarding the entrance to the park. Strange. The soil here seems darker and less packed than the soil around it. In fact, the mud in this part of the ground is a bit damp and mushy. My fingers even leave marks in it when I touch it. If I want to dig deeper, this plank won't help me. I need something sharper. They were nailed into it. Impossible. They're too small. If I want to dig around it, I'll need something else. I don't think I'd gain anything by using this here. I can't see any entrance for pedestrians from here, which would seem to indicate that you can only get inside the compound through that barrier. This fence protects the compound on all four sides, as impenetrable and menacing as the one around the refugee camp. It seems like barbed wire barricades are the only architecture possible in this new world. The park is closed down, and the front gate is locked shut. If I want to get in there, it won't be through the gate.
This entrance is reserved for authorized motor vehicles only. Get away from it. Move on.
What the hell?
Okie dokie.
Those savages don't get around. I'd better avoid getting too close to that area, at least on foot.
I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that, whatchamacallit, motorcycle. I wonder if I can, nope.
This plank doesn't quite fit anywhere.
Can
I don't think this handful of glass... It looks like this heating technology is not limited to the refugee camp. These bonfires are used here too, and their emissions are just as toxic here as they are there. What the hell could they be burning in them?
the man's magnum opus, of course.
I'm afraid I can't do that. Scratching the glass with the nails wouldn't do much good. Besides, I hate the squeaky sound of sharp objects on glass. Best not to waste time trying to nail this here. It doesn't look like it's having any...
I need to get...
Yes.
Okay,
This house is empty. If I could... I need to... If the soul...
Don't go for the padlock, go for the window. Damn it.
impossible.
I need to...
I'm sorry.
Help me.
It's the silhouette of the soldiers guarding the street from around the corner. It seems like those uniformed psychopaths' rifles are projected onto each and every corner of the city. A few buildings are still standing, but most of them are propped up or about to fall down, with a handful of city dwellers in the street that look like automatons or sleepwalkers. But there's no doubt about it. I'm on the 5th Avenue of Doomsday City. The traffic in this part of the city must have been especially heavy, but now you can barely hear the sound of the few army vehicles still circulating in the surrounding areas.
Let's see what this says.
Did we do it? Are we the guilty ones?
Oh no. It's starting again. It's amazing. Everything's changing. Everything. Everything is mutating. And I haven't even moved. I don't understand. I don't understand anything. I'm not going to interrupt. The man's message intrigues me. Who does he mean by we? And what exactly did we do?
Your angels through the gash. That is your sign.
I'm not going to give it to anyone. I'm sure this poster hides some important information about my past. Although, it could also be that my faulty memory is playing tricks on me.
Illuminate us with your fiery voice.
I have no idea. Damn it.
Best not to waste time trying to nail this here. It's one of the ways into the city's sewer system. The Great Wave wrecked this place. You can smell these dead creatures from several yards away. I have no intention of picking up those rotten fish with my hands, to say nothing of putting them in my pocket. I'm afraid the plank wouldn't fit between the bars of the park gate. Aha. After what I've heard about this place, it's... One area has looser, mushier soil than around the rest of the fence. My fingers sink in the mud quite easily.
I need that freaking...
A metal sign bolted to the wall. It's the logo of the local subway system, and from what I can see, one of the edges is slightly detached. I don't quite see how I... What for? Too many things in my life have already gone up in smoke. Can I ask you a few...
Sure. Can't you see that we're...
What goes on inside that church? Has everyone gone completely crazy?
Are you referring to the pastor and his flock? Oh, don't pay too much attention to them. Reverend Blake is a good man. He helped a lot of people after the Great Wave. But he gradually started to lose his mind until he reached the state he's in now.
Well, I stopped by once or twice to listen to him preach. The days are long. You have to find something to do. I try to go at this time of day. There are fewer people because it's almost curfew time. The Reverend seems obsessed with that atmospheric phenomenon in the sky, and with religious themes of guilt and repentance. Although I think he's actually just talking about himself. But the most surprising thing about all this is that he has hundreds of followers, and he's attracting more and more all the time from all over the city. And they even let him into the refugee camp once in a while to preach there. People adore him.
Why does that surprise you? We've been following sane leaders since time began, and look where that got us. Maybe it's time to start following the crazier ones.
Well, that's the most sensible thing I've heard you say all day.
Atmospheric phenomenon? Are you referring to the gash in the sky? In the camp, no one knows what it is.
On this side of the fence, the authorities have come up with their own scientific term: atypical controlled turbulence in the upper ionosphere. Though I suppose that's just a fancy way of telling us that they have no idea what the hell it was that split the sky in two after the Great Wave.
It makes my blood run cold when that aberration starts to grind out that noise like a piece of rusty machinery.
I wish those scrambled little clouds up there were the worst of our problems, dear.
Oh, shut up.
Thanks for the chat.
Thanks for the company, friend.
Without electricity and surrounded by ruins, This traffic light hanging here is as useless and depressing as an unfunny clown. That old man needs to find shelter, or he'll be moved to the refugee camp. I'm afraid that in his condition, and his age, he wouldn't last long out there. I feel for him, but I don't see how I can help him. A dirty window at ground level for ventilation. It's the only opening this building's basement has to the outside. Dozens of posters, all This chain and padlock have this door locked up tight. Whoever did this made sure that no one will be able to open it again without the right key. From time to time, those savages have become...
No.
The thunderous voice of your angels.
I'm not going to interrupt him.
That is your sign.
The catastrophe caused a lot of damage is a miracle. This column fragment must now it's keeping the pedestal of the statue.
That is your sign.
Let's see. If I wedge one of the ends of the plank under the statue's pedestal, the other part will rest directly on the base of the toppled column.
The ruins of the temple, the lion above the flames. We still have time. We're waiting, Lord. Did we do it? Illuminate us! Send us a sign with your just and vengeful arm! Is this our fault? Listen! It's the fiery breath of God! The Lord has sent us his sign! And I was right! It is all our fault! We did it, and we have aroused his fury!
But what the hell's going on here?
Look! That's the sign! Forgive us, Lord! Forgive us! Repent, all ye sinners!
It's the atmospheric phenomenon I've been hearing so much about. That infernal sound coming from the crack in the sky. It's terrifying.
That is the sign! We did it! Forgive us, Lord! Forgive us! My children, God has spoken to us with his darkest voice. Haven't you heard him? But there's still time. All is not lost. We still have time. Salvation lies in the place where it all began, in the ruins, at the source. We must return to the ruins of the temple. We must return. We must.
Okay, that dude's a nut job.
Well, look at that. Next to this enormous hunk of glass, the colored glass shards I picked up earlier look ridiculous. I'd better get rid of them. Hello. I heard your sermon and...
Yeah, God has shown us his sign. He has finally spoken to all of us. With his thunderous voice, he has revealed the unknown. We did it. It's all our fault. We did it. But there's still time. All is not lost. There's still time to avoid it. The head of the lion above the flames holds the key to everything.
Huh?
But what is it we did?
Time is the will of God. It is his heart and his hammer. The centuries and the ages belong solely to him. The celestial empire is a divine clock. Time rotates around God. Its hands are his angels and archangels. Now I see it all clearly. How could we have been so stupid? Our arrogance had enraged him. That's what we did.
This man is definitely crazy. Nothing he says makes any sense.
I beg you, leave my brother in peace. He's very upset.
We did what? I'm sorry, but I didn't understand a word you just said.
We sullied his name. We didn't know that each second is a drop of Christ's blood, and that only he can reign over the interval, over the infinite mysticism of the fragment. Only he can reign over time with his incandescent omnipotence, and we were unable to see it. And now he is enraged, and we're to blame. That's what we did.
I still don't understand what it is we did.
Each cycle is a fluorescent gust of God's will.
I think I'm just
Don't you
pissing him off
see?
now.
Can't you see it? He reigns over the days and the hours from the inscrutable luminescence of his dwelling place. And we are just instants that slip through his fingers. Time is his, and his alone. And we tried to wrest it from him. That's what we did.
What signs are you referring to?
The dark angels of God clamor madly through the open wound that is bleeding the kingdom of heaven dry. Haven't you heard?
What the f-
They
you
were
talking
speaking with a thunderous voice. God is furious. That is his sign.
I suppose in his delirium, the man has mistaken that strange sound coming from the gash in the sky left by the great wave as a sign from the heavens. He's definitely lost his mind.
Please be so kind as to leave us in peace. Can't you see that my brother is very agitated?
Well, I'm gonna keep talking to him.
I assume you're referring to the atmospheric phenomenon in the sky caused by the great wave.
No, no! It's the stench of human arrogance that made the gears of the gates of hell grind. And now they're opening up like a festering wound to swallow us all. Can it be that you haven't heard it? That is his sign.
Excuse me, but I don't think that was a divine sign.
We've lacerated the sacred skin of the shroud God enveloped us in. We've betrayed him. We've stabbed him with our infinite arrogance. And you can see the mark etched on the heavens. Through that gash, Lucifer has shattered our name from on high. Satan is calling each and every one of us by name. Can't you hear it? That is his sign.
Tell me, what is it that we can still prevent?
The wrath of God, the destruction of man. There's still time. We did it, but we still have time. The key is in the ruins of the temple. We have to find the ruins of the temple. Look for the head of the lion above the flames. Bring me the head of the lion above the flames while there's still time.
But this church is already in ruins. It hardly has any walls or a foundation left. You're already in the ruins of the temple.
No, you're mistaken. Bring me the head of the lion above the flames.
That's enough. Stop tormenting my brother. He's exhausted.
The head of the lion above the flames? That sounds absurd. It makes no sense. I think it's best that I leave you in peace.
Yes, leave my brother in peace.
There's still time. There's still time. Bring me the head of the lion above the flames.
Nut job!
She meditates in silence, resigned and exhausted. Considering the mental state of Reverend Blake, I guess it falls to her to take care of him night and day.
What if I could dig with those huge glass fragments?
I'll do this very carefully, so that the glass doesn't break in two. Perfect. The hole I've dug is big enough to get to the other side of the fence. I refuse to touch that repulsive mess and put it in.
Holy crap, that's creepy as hell.
Good God. There are dozens, hundreds of corpses hanging from the branches. What could have drawn all these people here? What kind of pain? What kind of desperation brought them here? These are the corpses of ordinary people who were living their ordinary lives in their ordinary little worlds up to a very short time ago. Could any of them have imagined meeting an end like this back then? Forgotten and nameless, swaying in the breeze like marionettes. And all those savages in uniforms did was close the park. They didn't even bother to cut their bodies down from the trees. I'm afraid that tonight, there are too many dark stars to count in Suicide Park. I'm not gonna cut it. If I can manage to salvage this rope without cutting it, it could be useful to me. Impossible. One of its ends is tied to the crowbar, and the other, well, the other is also tied to something. A rotting bench overlooking purgatory. It looks like the kid who hanged himself from this tree climbed up on this and then jumped with the rope around his neck. This vegetation is so dense that all you can see are some flattened metal posts in there. There's no doubt that nature has taken over this corner of the city. So much so that I'm afraid that this is the end of my little stroll. The trees and bushes are so close together here that I can hardly push the branches to one side with my hands. The thorns in these bushes are jabbing into me like metal spikes. I'm not going to be able to open up a path this way.
Oh, crap.
Wait a minute. That guy is the suicide victim who was hanging from this tree. No, don't do it, please. No! Good God, I saw him hang himself.
Now, the question is, I'm gonna go over here, use that crowbar on the sign.
Maybe with the help of the crowbar, I can get the subway sign off the wall. Damn it! I've managed to tear it down, but the subway sign is broken in two.
If I can I break the padlock with the crowbar?
I agree that violence is sometimes the shortest path between 2 points, but considering how heavy this padlock and the chain are, I'm not sure that brute force is going to help me open this door.
How about... Shoot, I have no idea. Crowbar on the...
The crowbar fits perfectly into the hole in the manhole cover.
Score.
Wait a minute. I'm not going to climb down any further. It's totally dark in there, and it would be crazy to go into these sewers without any light. I doubt I'd accomplish anything using the pieces of the metal sign with that. It's an old rope, but in good condition, considering how long it's been exposed to the elements, but the stench it gives off is nauseating. A subway sign split in two. That's what happens when you try to rip something off a wall without the right tools. What for? Too many. What was formerly the subway service, I imagine the train tunnels.
Just don't know what to do next.
It looks like this man has been left. What did he say his daughter's name was? Uma? I hope that woman has a good reason for abandoning him like this. But to be honest, I can't think of one possible reason. That would be one way of getting into the house. But the noise of breaking glass would alert the soldiers posted nearby. I'd rather not think about what those savages would do to this old man. And me. Use this here? How?
I don't know. Trying to come up with creative.
I could tie the rope there, but what for?
I need to get
I'm sorry.
help.
I can't think of anything that.
Can I ask you if...
Sure, can't you?
No.
Thanks.
Thanks for.